there, everyone. Welcome to We the Panel, a Terrace House podcast. This is episode 3 of this podcast. Again, we have the same people that come from this podcast of ours. So we got me. Hi, my name is Jason. And yeah, introduce yourselves, guys.
Oh, we got James.
Oh, right, yeah. I'm Tim, y'all. How's it going?
Hey, it's Cheska here.
Awesome. And we're back at it again. And this time we watched episode 2 of Terrace House. And my goodness, it was a doozy.
Ooh, I was about to say that. Definitely a doozy.
Oh,
yeah.
man.
Once again, yo, before we go part by part, yo, what did y'all think, just in general, as an episode? What did y'all think?
Really well, made. I don't know, the cutoff point was I don't know. It just led to okay, now I need to see the next episode. I don't know. It was kind of like the last episode. They just do it so right where you're on the edge of wanting to see the next one, and yeah, it's really hard not to binge it. So, Jess.
I thought the ending was too abrupt, so now I'm mad at it.
Oh no.
It just ended so weirdly. They were just staring at their phones. And that was it.
I think I know why it was like that, but we'll talk about it when we get to that point.
Okay.
But yeah, I do agree. It was a interestingly paced episode, but it keeps us wanting more. I feel like we're eager to watch the next episode now. But before we do that, we gotta discuss what the heck just happened.
Yeah, man, it was crazy. This, I feel like it's because this show is so you can binge it, and I feel like it's meant to be binged. So, that's what makes things kind of hard for us. But anyways, starting with the episode, of course, it started with a recap of last episode. Everyone showed up. And they're at the end, they had the whole thing where Tae-chan basically told Shota that it's he likes Rie, and it's he exposed it for the world and all that stuff. But the way that this episode starts is it starts with Shota calling everyone to look at this Yahoo News article. Who uses Yahoo News? That's the first thing. What?
2012. It's 2012.
Yeah.
Honestly, in 2012, I don't even think I used Yahoo News.
I mean, I did, so...
So you understand. You understand. Okay, cool.
I get it, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so there was a news article about Terrace House, and I'm pretty sure it was mostly veered on Rie joining Terrace House as a member of AKB. And yeah, basically everyone's kind of cheering for Rie and all that kind of stuff. It was a pretty low-key start to it. But then after that, Shota and Rie leave for school and work. And something that I noticed, I don't know if I'm just interpreting it wrong, especially because I thought that it was called AKB47, but it's AKB48. But when Rie was writing on the board, she put something that says something going to go with the 47. And I was like, oh, is that what she calls the rest of the group? Or I don't know.
That's her squad. Yeah, it said, gonna go do a recording with the other 47. So does that mean it's a legit 48 deep squad?
Bro,
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean...
Yo, is that actually true? I kind of want to check that.
Yeah, fact check that. I don't know, yeah, J-pop, K-pop groups can get
are
huge.
In AKB48.
That is a lot.
Is it actually?
Is it actually?
Bro, it's not just 48.
Oh, yeah, because think about the former members, too.
Bro, it's
former members, subgroups within the larger group.
Yep.
It's not just 48, bro. It's a hot 200.
What? AKB had 200 members.
I can't.
Is it still going on with new members right now?
That's wild. Honestly, I have no idea. They have sorry, I'm just going down the Google search, but it's it says that I think every letter, so AKB, they have different members within each team, I guess you could say. So it's like back in 2019, Team A had 21 members, Team K had 22, Team B had 22, Team 4 had 27, and Team 8 had 46. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot. There's a lot of them.
So
AKB 47 are like 5 different teams. Team A, K, B, 4, and 7.
So if they ran out of numbers, or what, they ran out of letters, so they eventually went back to numbers. So like this is team.
AKB.
I don't know.
8.
I don't think it's possible to like run out of members in that group, you know?
Wow.
Or even just running out of members in a team, because like, bro, that's a lot.
So
You know,
it's like-
considering that there's the 4 of us for this podcast team, I was like, yo, that's a good number. And they got a hot 200 for their entire squad.
So that means when she was in her current team, I guess it's not 48 people. It was like maybe less than because it's like a class, right? Or like a batch.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
But she legit said the 47. Is that
Yeah.
a joke?
So I have no idea. But anyways, so since Shota and Rie are gone, that means that the other 4 decide to go grocery shopping, so they can make a nice curry, you know, and curry is something that I've been craving for a while.
Yes.
I could go for some curry over rice. Yeah, that'd be great.
Honestly. But one thing that I noticed, just because like I've watched all the other seasons of Terrace House, is that the production value is definitely different. Like, I don't know if you guys could tell, but they were using like a handheld camera and having a car drive behind them. And you could tell because like the camera was like moving as like they were driving. Plus, they were driving in like a big van. Which is which is a nice step down from the Jaguars that they use in other seasons.
Hold on. Okay, so this is the first season, right? They're thinking, let's have a utility vehicle. So they have what? It was like a Toyota, like an SUV,
Yaris. I don't know.
Yeah.
So maybe they're thinking maybe they don't need the style right now. And again, it's Toyota. What kind of luxury cars do they have? You're not getting that Netflix money yet, but yeah, you're right.
Oh my god, this entire podcast is just gonna be us bagging on Toyota for giving them no money.
It's rough.
But yeah, so they go do their thing. And another thing that I was kind of wondering, is it good etiquette to announce that you're home even if no one else is home? So to give a little context, when everyone was coming back from the grocery store, as soon as they walked into the house, they're like, "Oh, we're home." And as each person came inside, everyone was like, "Oh, we're home, we're home, we're home, we're home." So I don't know, like,
was anyone home, or you were just saying it just for the sake of like, "Hey, we're home"?
I'm pretty sure it was just them, because usually they're like welcomed if someone announces that they're home, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have a feeling it is.
Yeah.
It's just like I don't know, based on all the anime and any kind of thing Japanese, they usually say like when they arrive home, they're like "Tadaima," even though sometimes that's pretty cool though. There's just like
or maybe someone might.
home.
Oh, sorry.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Like maybe it's because like they came home. Like you're not sure who's going to be home, right? So might as well just announce when you get home, anyways.
Yeah.
Don't want to startle anybody, right?
Yeah. I mean, I do that with my roommate all the time. Even if she's not home, I check to see if she's home by saying like, "Hello, I'm home, I'm here."
True.
But yeah, it's like a security thing in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
That's true. Okay. Yeah, and then it kind of, after like they make their curry and stuff, it skips, or well, they make their curry, which is nice. And then while they're making it, Cena asks Tae-chan to get her some wine. So that's a strike down on the Cena alcohol list.
Yeah.
I really might just make that tally.
Wait, to point out earlier, there was like she didn't ask for it, but she was drinking wine earlier in the day before they went grocery shopping.
Yeah.
There was a shot, and then as soon as they got back from grocery shopping, another glass.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Like something about her and pouring it so eloquently in her wine glass is just like, this isn't your first time, huh? Like she's just like legit like, Oh yeah.
gripping it from like the bottom of the thing. Like
Yeah.
she's holding it like this while she pours, or like something like that. She pours it like that. Like
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, when they were looking up Yahoo, right? Everyone's just like concerned about like, ooh, what's going on with Yahoo? And Cena just puts on her Bose headset and just like, yep, just another day. Pours the wine so nicely and just like stirs it, sips it, and like, this is the morning.
yeah, morning
God.
wine.
I mean, she has a tough career, you know? The modeling agency.
Oh yeah.
Must be tough. Must be tough.
Yeah, I got
Oh,
words
but
about that.
before we get to that,
Yep.
so while everyone's kind of eating and drinking, I think Sena and Masato leave. And by that point, Shota's there and everyone's there. And then, they want, Shota asks for like an interesting or like an indecent story. And that's when we find out that Momo is getting plastic surgery in a month.
Right. Right. Yeah, I couldn't.
Yeah, what do y'all think
focus.
about that?
I couldn't focus because she was having that face thing on her thing.
Oh yeah,
Like she was talking to everyone like, so I'm gonna tell you something indecent in a month. Yeah. Like, I don't know. I kind of want to buy one now just to try it out. Does it work? Like, what does it do?
I have like the less extreme version of that.
Mhm.
It's a jade roller. So you basically roll your face up to lift up your face to prevent it from like getting wrinkles and stuff.
Oh.
It is like, I've heard that it can get rid of acne and acne scars and all that other stuff. So that's my main reason of using the jade roller, but we'll see if the wrinkles thing work in like a few years from now. But yeah.
Interesting.
Okay.
Okay. But yeah, so we find out that Momo isn't completely natural. She already had some plastic surgery. She got the double eyelid surgery. And she just kind of like normally does this stuff, and she even talks about her plastic surgery as being like what does she say, like tiny surgeries or something like that?
Yeah. I was like, yeah. It's like nothing major, is small. And then Shota was like, there's no such thing as like a tiny plastic surgery.
Sure. Do y'all agree with that? I don't.
I don't agree with Shota. There is like tiny things, small cosmetic things, like I know in terms of like scarring with kids, right? Like, you know, like kids get hurt all the time. Like I know one of my nieces like cut her lip real bad, right? And so, you know, like she's a little kid, she doesn't want to grow up with like a scar in her mouth for the rest of her life. So there is like small plastic surgery, like stuff like that. But I mean, her small thing, the bridge of her nose type of, I wouldn't call that small, but you know, it's not major, but it's not small either.
Well,
Go ahead.
sorry. She
Yeah, go.
said she wanted to have an injection in her nose. So, like, my question is, what is she trying to fix in her nose? Because, like, if it's a flat nose, oh yeah, you're right. But like,
It's definitely that Asian nose.
how would the injection help to lift up her nose? Because I feel like you need to do bone reconstruction instead.
Maybe it's like, you know, like a silicone type of membrane. I don't know. I'm talking out of my ass here. I'm no like medical professional whatsoever, but I assume it's like, I don't know, like the way they put like plastic for breast implants. So maybe they inject it into here to make it bulkier, so that like it rises up, right? I think she said it was like over like a certain amount of time, like it's like regular injections or something like that. So like, you know, like not like a procedure over like a length of time to get the result she wants.
True.
Yeah, it's flat.
True.
She's trying to raise it up. So is that like Botox?
Mhm.
I don't know. We're not experts here. I
Yeah,
get you.
yeah, we're not professionals here.
No,
But
perfection.
in saying in terms of like, yeah, it's her body. Like if she wants to do that, she can totally do it. And if that's like an insecurity of hers, then yeah, go for it. Like it's her thing.
Yeah.
So I kind of disagree with like what Shota was saying. It's like, oh, that's a big thing. Like, well, maybe for you it is, but for her, it's just like something that she always wanted to fix. And
True.
it's an imperfection that could she just fix up later on in her life. Like, I swear, isn't the double lift thing like a popular thing in Asia, like
Double
I
lip?
think it
double lip
is. Yeah, yeah.
or yeah, like
Oh,
Yeah, like I know
Double
I've
Eyelid,
heard of it
yeah.
before.
yeah.
So it's like, yeah, it's definitely not uncommon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it happened.
Yeah, but anyway, so that actually ends that night, and then the next morning, it goes to Tichan and Cena, who are they're both getting ready for interviews that are going to be happening later that day. So with Tichan, he's going to an interview for this gardening job, and that's when we meet Hisato Kojima, good old Kojima, with the beautiful hair.
Yes.
The beautiful
Oh my
beard.
goodness.
Joe, that beard.
Oh, man.
I envy that beard.
What conditioner
man.
does he use? It just like flows with the wind. And I don't know, like it's a
Yeah, man,
it's a
it's
nice
like-
mane, man. Like it's fully grown. like it's seen
Do you think?
stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Do you think he
Yeah.
does that on the regular, or do you think he got a heads up, like, "Hey, I'm bringing a camera crew with me to an interview"? You think he like, went to the salon, got his hair all done,
I gotta look
combed
good
his
today.
beard, like,
Well, Tim, to give you some Terrace House like lore, this guy's
Ooh.
actually a recurring character.
Yes, he is.
Oh!
Yes, he is.
What?
He is a
Okay.
Terrace House staple.
Yeah, like
Oh man,
this
okay.
guy is like he is needed in some people's lives. Like there are some pivotal moments in Terrace House where the guy gives like really good sage advice. He's always there to give some kind of like
Yeah.
some kind of
Oh,
part-time job, which is like
Yeah.
if you just do the hard work, you'll be good in life. That kind of vibe.
Okay,
And, like,
okay.
Yeah, and he has some quips. Like he talks with like the housemates and just like, so how's it at the house? So it's like it's really interesting knowing that like the guy was there from the start. So it kind of makes sense why he became such a
Oh.
recurring character. Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
kind of like an integrated like confession cam sort of deal,
Yeah, man.
right?
Kind of.
Well,
It's
well,
more like
you
just a
can't-
recurring character. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, he's like canon in the Terrace House cinematic universe.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
the THCU.
Yeah, he's
He's in
consistent.
there.
Yeah. Like when they talk about like, ah man, I'm looking for a part-time job. I think we know where they're gonna go.
Yeah, but this is like what's really cool about like watching this first season is that like we get to see a lot of the origin stories, I guess you could say, of like all of these different characters. Because like we do have like a few recurring characters, and if we ever watch any other seasons of Terrace House, it'll be cool to see them again. We already kind of know them, so we already kind of have that like relationship with them. But yeah, Kojima-san, man, like he was he was very soft and kind of like he wasn't super tough on him during the interview.
Yeah.
And it really like I felt like that interview and the interview that we're gonna be talking about are two kind of different experiences, I guess you could kind of say.
Exactly. Now,
Yeah.
I remember when you were watching it, we were kind of like ragging on him because he wasn't even when Taechan left the house, he didn't even tuck in his shirt. You know, basic
Oh my
etiquette for a
God.
job interview.
Yeah.
Have to
Yeah.
dress to impress at a certain point, but I guess that didn't really bother Kojima-san because he's just
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
okay, cool, just sit there at the corner, we'll talk. You know?
Yeah. He sat in like a hammock chair, like as soon as he came in. It was so casual, like right in front of the front register too.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I
Honestly.
missed something in that interaction. I think it was like, or like Taechan like didn't greet him in like a formal way or something like that.
Oh no! Yeah, I think it was just when he starts working there, that's an expectation.
Right. But he said like,
Yeah.
like I saw like a jab from Kojima-san. He's kind of not like today. Like not like today. I expect like a formal greeting like every day. Like,
It might have been. I don't know. I think just because Kojima seems like he's so like kind when he talks that you don't really see it. But yeah, there might have been like a little bit of a jab there. You know, we didn't like. I guess the initial interaction was kind of like eh. But yeah, I don't know. Well, hopefully we get to see Taechan when he's actually working at the Guardian, and maybe we'll see if there's a bit of a change in that. You know, hopefully.
Yeah, it's interesting that he chose that to. And what was his reason? basically to build strength.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
The physical labor will probably help him with his firefighter career endeavor.
Okay. All right.
True.
Well, hopefully he gets stronger because the guy needs protein.
It's his training saga.
Yeah, man. Honestly, he looks kind of
Before
skinny,
the
man.
tournament arc.
We're gonna call it the Taechan arc.
Yeah.
Taechan arc. Oh, that's actually rewarding to see him grow. That'd be cool.
Yeah. But yeah, so after looking at his interview, that's when we move on to Cena, who gets this whole scene of her getting ready for the interview where she goes to a salon, she gets her hair done and all that kind of stuff. But what really pissed me off is the fact that she got her hair done, and then when we cut to the scene of her walking into the building, her hair's tied up again.
Oh my goodness, that's what pissed me off that whole entire time.
Tell us, elaborate, because I don't get it.
Okay, you're applying for a modeling agency or a modeling job, right? Wouldn't it make sense to like show all of your hair than to just put it all back? And you, like what James said, she went to a salon to get her hair done, dyed, cut, all of it to prepare for this interview, and then she just put it in a bun. Like,
yeah.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah, like it's one of those things where it's kind of like, I get it. Like, I get the fact that she put it in a bun because it's an interview. Like, I guess that kind of makes her look a little more professional. But at the same time, if you're a model and you're trying to show off yourself, you need to be showing off all aspects of yourself, you know?
But wouldn't you have that because of your portfolio? She did bring the portfolio for them to see.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, I got some comments about the portfolio too.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. Like I feel like she was a little ill prepared. But that's like, we'll get to that. So she gets to the agency, knocks on the door super politely and all that stuff, and then she gets her portfolio. And my goodness, the one thing that I noticed in that entire portfolio is she had a Swagapino Tumblr picture. Oh my gosh, she had the nerd glasses. She had the little pose with one of these things, bro.
her lip pout, all of it.
Yeah.
Guys,
I rate that picture. That was
guys,
a good
it was
picture.
2012. That was that it thing, right? Like, being a
That was
nerd
in,
was
yeah.
cool. Like,
That really
she's
was.
hitting
It
that
still is.
demographic. You gotta put that in her headshots, I guess. But like, yeah, we legit went back to see it. Like, hold on.
Yeah, we have to pause. 2 seconds.
Come back. Yeah, that was the image. Like, she had other things in her portfolio. Like, wow, that really shows that. Yeah, and she's only been modeling for like what, 2 years? She said.
A little bit over 2 years.
That's pretty. That's pretty. What do you call this? That's pretty new, right?
Yeah,
But
definitely.
Yeah, it was a expensive looking portfolio, and portfolios are pretty expensive. Headshots itself are expensive,
Yeah.
right?
Oh,
That's true. That's true.
But
Yeah.
that Swagapino picture. that
Oh
hit
my
deep.
God.
That hit
It
deep.
was so good.
Nice
But yeah,
throwback.
that was so good. But what wasn't so good, bro? Her interview. I mean, okay. So this scene
Wow.
made me cringe so hard
Yeah.
because I just like, oh my God, you can't help but like feel so bad for her because it's like she just wasn't prepared for all those questions, man.
Yep.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah.
Like it was weird because it's like, you know, if you think about it, like she's the oldest.
25
and
at the time.
with age, you know, you would assume comes experience. But I don't know, because she seemed very ill prepared. She took time to kind of think about the questions first before answering. When you know, like the expectation is to like, as soon as they ask the question, you need to have that answer ready.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right?
It's true. But she said she's only been in the business for 2 years, right? And she did say like this was like a magazine job. The only other time she did modeling was for like little things, or at least the internet, pictures in the internet. So I guess it's a different
Ads. Yeah.
ads. I guess it's a different beast when they want to be the it girl, or at least a model in a magazine, right? It's for glamorous.
Yeah, or like taking up like a page.
Mm-hmm. So it does show her inexperience, and just in general, like when they did ask, like, "Hey, what makes you special compared to all other models?" She didn't know, right? Like she doesn't have that brand, or she doesn't know what her brand is, what makes her stand out. So like, it's unfortunate. She really sucked. They weren't impressed at all.
Yeah, but they also gave like constructive feedback there. It's like. It's like you can't just be a pretty face in this industry, I think is what they said there. Like, like they turned her down, but they gave her something to work with, something to think about. Like, why are you doing this? What's your end goal as a model here? And like, like your career aspirations and working towards that goal. So, I mean, all in all, I don't think it was that like all cringy. Like, there were some moments in those interactions, but she definitely seemed out of her element as soon as she walked into the door. Like all timid, like hi, like for a model too.
Yeah, what really got to me was the fact that she was already like tearing up.
Oh yeah,
and I think that really gave the employers a sense like that she doesn't have enough experience. Why is she crying in an interview? So it's like, I think they were checked out after she answered some questions, but her tearing up was probably like a defining moment for them to say no to her.
Yeah, like she answered all her questions pretty bad. Like, it was like, is your first time doing a magazine? Yes. So like, what do you want? Like, what's your appeal? And she's like, that's it. Like, she didn't know. She doesn't even know exactly what the magazine focuses on. She just said like, I like it. It has nice stuff. But she basically said that, and that kind of just shows them like, what does she even want this? Like, is this just a thing? Like, usually when people go for a job, they kind of like research the background of the company at least.
Yeah.
So like, she was just not prepared, and maybe hopefully she'll learn from this because it's a ruthless industry, right? Like there's infinite number of models, and like she could be easily replaced, but that just really shows her inexperience.
Going into this, like compared to the first episode, like the persona I got from her was like, oh, she's an established model. Like she walks into the house, like sunglasses on, like she had this bravado when she like her first shot of the series, and then I'm like, okay, like, and I think Cheska said something about the sleeves between Moto and and her, and I'm like, yeah, you know what, I could see that because they work in like pretty high profile industries with certain habits. I'm like, I can see that, but like, it turns out she's a total newbie.
But you could tell that she thought it didn't go well for her because as soon as she comes home, what does she do? Pop that wine bottle, baby. That's another one for the tally.
Wait, hold on. Do you think, okay, so you think if she did good, she wouldn't drink another bottle?
No. Okay, she definitely would have. She definitely would have. But the way that she did it, bro. When she was pouring, she's like, oh yeah, I'm so sad. It went horribly. Shota was at the dinner table.
That's true.
They were talking already, and she was bummed out. She was super bummed out. And it was rough. It was really rough. But then we get to a really interesting part of the episode, where we see a little shot of Rie asleep on the couch.
Oh,
and
Techan.
It's his chance, dog. So he goes, sits down, goes on his phone. And she wakes up, like... and they have a little conversation. And in that conversation, what was Techan doing with his feet?
Okay, hold on. First of all, it was 9:30. Rie was so tired. She wakes up from her slumber, and Techan's on the phone and says, "Good morning."
Yeah,
dude. That's so cool of you to say. Slick, honestly, slick.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, the feet. Twiddling was like, so.
Oh my god.
What do you do?
little fish here and there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's on his stomach, kicking his feet in the air. Just having.
Nah, but he's straight up like holding his feet.
Oh yeah, he did like
too.
a stretch too. Yeah, it was very
Yeah.
cash, you know.
I don't know,
like-
man. It was kind of gross to me, but
He did some
Hey.
lower body exercises during that
yeah,
conversation.
Wanted to show off his flexibility to Ray-chan, you know.
yeah. But their actual
Mm.
conversation was very interesting to me because as I was watching it, Tichan pulled out the line. He's like, "Oh yeah, what's your favorite kind of sushi?" And she says, "Horse sushi."
Oh,
Horse sashimi,
Two-
yeah.
Two things with that. The first thing, I didn't know you could have horse sashimi.
is it real
Like-
horse or is it horseradish?
That's oh.
Mm.
Well, I mean, like he
What?
did say like raw horse, and I guess when they say
Oh,
like
okay.
raw something, I'd assume it's like meat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Would y'all ever try that?
I had beef sashimi before, so I
Is that
mean,
even allowed? Like raw meat?
horse meat.
Yeah.
If prepared correctly like in certain circumstances, like yeah, like really you can ingest it. I mean,
Yeah,
as long as it's
I-
properly prepared,
true.
Okay.
you know.
I mean, you can technically eat anything raw, right? Like you could
Yeah.
have like a beef tartare or something like that.
Oh yeah, you
Right.
could get like a steak and have it blue, right? So
Oh God, yeah.
yeah.
But the other thing with that specific part was I really thought Tae-chan was gonna follow it up with asking her out on a date, but he doesn't.
Slow play, slow play. Give the man time. He's got some,
Hold
he's got a
on,
couple
yeah.
episodes to make it work.
This is
Oh,
gonna be
man.
the Techan series. I feel like he's the main character of Terrace House right now. I want to see him grow and be the man who he wants to be. But right now,
True.
it's in the infancy. Like the guy is, he's getting there. You know, like he's the youngest guy, I think, right? Like he pulls
19,
out like
yeah.
yeah. It really shows, like, he talks about, like, oh, I never had anything like horse sashimi. And, like, Rie's all like, oh, yeah, I could ride the train, like, the Shinkansen. And that's basically, like, showing, like, hey, Rie is, like, she's done stuff. But Techan,
Yeah.
while twiddling his feet and just, like, trying to stretch, because I feel like he's just, like, antsy, because he's actually talking to, you know, Rie by her, like, they're just...
Oh yeah, he says that. He says that. Like yeah, I've
True.
never
So
had
I
a
think that's why
one-on-one
he's
with
a little
that.
antsy. Like, he's like, so, like, do you like
What do I do with
stuff?
my hands?
Yeah,
Like,
that kind of
Let me
thing.
put them to
Grab
my
your feet.
Exactly. So he's like, you know, he's trying to work him out, like, you know, trying to feel out the feels. And it really shows, like, he is, like, a baby compared to what Richan
Yeah.
has already think.
right. Yeah.
So,
she
like,
travels.
Yeah. So they give the man some time and he will grow. But right now, it's just, I like the conversations of how he is, because it just, like, shows, like, this is kind of cute.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
man. But yeah, and then after that, the night basically ends off. Except, all of the guys actually go out for food and drinks.
Mm.
And,
Guys
while
night
they're
out.
getting the drinks and stuff, the question comes out of, which girls do y'all like? And,
Who
the
asked that? Was
first-
that Moto or Shoto or Techan?
I think it was Tae-chan that did it.
Oh, did he?
Um,
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah,
Or-
there's yeah.
Yeah. And it was interesting because, you know, they, Shota already joked around about like, oh yeah, just tell it to my ear. Tell it to my ear. real quick."
Yeah. You just whisper it to me. I
That's
won't
good.
say anything.
I love Shota's character. He's so like boisterous and like
Yeah.
he's not afraid to just like do
Stir
anything,
the
which
pot.
is really cool.
Just like,
Yeah, he's gonna be like interesting as a character. But Masato does this thing where he basically names every part that he likes about each girl. He's like, Cena's face, or no, he says Cena's body. And they're like, oh yeah, for conversation it's Rie. And I was like, bro, that's damn, what a guy.
Cheska, you called it right. He is a sleazy. Look at her. She's like,
I
What do you think
knew
about that?
it.
What do you think about
I
that,
knew
Cheska?
it.
What do you think about calling that
whenever
right?
Oh my goodness, I get so triggered because whenever a guy just talks about a specific point of a girl, I'm like, are you really paying attention to that girl?
Damn.
Like, you're sleazy. We'll see more of it.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn. So you think Masato's gonna get with anyone then?
I feel like there might be some one night thing happening, and then that might start something. I think all the drama's gonna start with him. So
Damn.
But time out. But like, where though? Where? Because like they all share one room. All the guys share one room. All the girls share one room. So if something were
they got the playroom.
They got the playroom.
They got the terrace. They got the living room.
They got the dining room, and they got rooms for boys and girls.
They have a shower.
Oh yeah,
Which
we did see
scene of.
we saw that short shower scene with your guy, your favorite guy, Cheska.
Oh yeah,
He is so tan.
Yeah, he is.
He wears a wetsuit, which I don't get. So yeah, that was an interesting night. Yeah.
Yeah. So then after that, it skips to the next scene where who is it? There are 4 members that go down to the playroom, and they watch.
No, not Shoto. Sorry, Ted-chan, Surfer Bro, Se-chan, and Momo. So Ray and Shoto weren't there.
Yeah. And they watched the first episode of Terrace House.
Yeah.
Bro, that's wild. They really lean in on how meta the show really is.
Second episode in, they're already watching the first episode.
Yeah, that was really fast. Like,
yeah.
I wonder how that works out.
Yeah, like I know in other seasons it's never that quick. Like in other seasons where like if they show in the episode that they're watching prior episodes, it'll probably be like 5-6 weeks after or something like that.
Yeah.
But in this one, it's literally the next episode. And I hope we get to see that in like every episode. There's one segment where they're all just watching the prior episode. I kind of want that to happen. I want that to be like a recurring scene.
But here's my question: does the fast editing ruin some moments in the show?
Ooh.
Because that ending.
Oh, she's talking about clearly.
I am blaming the editors for that ending.
Okay, we'll get to that ending real quick. So they watched the first episode. They're all super hyped. We get that good old Taylor Swift going on again. And then after the episode, or during the episode, it shows everyone's cell phones are just ringing over and over again. We don't really know who is calling them. I personally would like to think that it's their moms.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a hypothesis.
Oh, Tim, what do you think?
Because I think like they probably watched that air, or like the same time it aired in Japan, right? So like all their family members and all their friends are probably watching it while they're watching it too. And then they're just hitting them up like, "Oh, did you really say that? Oh my God, are you really going to hit on Rachel, bro?" Hey, you know what I mean?
That's crazy. That's so like immediate. Like, wow. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yo! I just took in, Tae-chan, or no, Rie wasn't there, but all the other girls were there. So now they all know that Tae-chan's into Rie.
Right.
Holy. That's kind of tight, man. That's kind of tight. But then the episode ends and they all leave the playroom. And after that, I think it's Masato that says, "Oh yeah, I'm a post on Facebook" or something like that. And after that, everyone's just on their phones looking at the interactions on their Facebook posts. And then the episode ends.
If I that's how the song. Yeah, that was an interesting ending. Do you think it was? Do you think they edited it like that to make like? Because from what I got from that ending was basically like, I don't think they realized how well they were gonna take the criticism or the feedback of what the show is about. So like what you said, Tim. it is like they probably were getting those so many phone calls because it was exactly when it aired. So when they were ending it, for I think at first when I first looked at it, when the episode ending of them just looking at their phone, it's just like, okay, I guess that's the ending. It's a pretty bad ending. But I think what they actually wanted to show was how each housemate was actually taking in, like, oh my god, people are talking about us, and that's their way of, like, responding to how they're taking the criticism. Because it doesn't seem like they're not used to this, right? This exposure, especially what?
Yeah.
It was Terrace House, like, national television, so everyone's just like, they're known now, right? So I think that episode ended with, like, not bittersweet, but like how you see everyone with just like, oh, this is uneasy. This is kind of weird. They're like fully surveillanced, and they're getting the full feedback of everyone else. So I think
That's true.
that's what I think what the ending was supposed to mean. Like, I do have questions about, like, how they were editing too. Like, it was weirdly paced. Like, and, when they went out, the guys all went out, and all of a sudden, cut! Boom.
That was it. Yeah, there was only like 4 or 5 sentences. I'm like, yo, the guys' night out goes a lot longer.
Oh my god, yeah. I think the last line in that scene was like, "Oh yeah, this tastes good." Boom.
Boom. Yeah.
Exactly.
Back to the house.
Yeah, you see Cena go into the house, say it was pretty rough, something like that, right? But to the ending, I think that's what they were trying to point it to, because if you think about it, sure, like in a happy tale, like a happy ending, it'd be really cool to see yourself on TV, but really, it doesn't show realistically the after effects of what fame can do to you, or like the exposure and popularity. So I think it's actually taking effect to them, and it's only the second episode, which is kind of nuts.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So that's how I see it.
Lots to take from this.
But how do you guys see the ending as?
Yeah.
I just wish they did another shot, like a shot of the house, like with them turning off the lights, and that was it. Like, I would have forgiven the editors if they did a shot like that to end the episode.
True.
But
Cheska's looking for like legitimate closure.
Yeah.
Yes.
In the episode.
Yeah. But yeah, Jay, your perspective on the ending kind of made me forgive the editors a little bit, but yeah, I just wanted closure from it.
True. Tim, what do you think?
I definitely like the open ending. I'm opposite of Cheska because like it's like, you know, it's their life, right? Their life continues. It goes on. It doesn't stop. You know, just because the episode's over. And I want to see the next one already. I want to see how this plays out. Like, yeah, because like I'm just only like imagining, right? Like, imagine we put this podcast up, and then, you know, like BuzzFeed or College Humor or like Reddit just blows up, and we're like, oh, they're talking about us. Damn, like, you know, like. It's just a lot to take in. You go from like an average Joe, 19 years old, just, yeah, I think I might want to be a firefighter, but I want to work at this gardening place for a bit. And then now Facebook's blowing up. The whole country's blowing up. And, you know, there's probably haters out there talking shit like, oh, his eyebrows look weird. Like, why is his piercing like that? Like, you know, like,
we did comment on his
firefighter
piercing.
wannabe. Yeah, right? So, like, now it's, yeah.
He's fully exposed. Yeah, and like everyone knows who he likes in the house.
Oh yeah,
right? And that was the
Thanks,
first episode.
Shoto.
Except for Rie.
Yeah,
Except for now.
There you go. So
now.
that's a lot to take in. Like, how do you handle that? Like, you need training with that kind of emotion control, I guess. But yeah, what do you think, James?
A PR person.
I think that this ending really just kind of showcases how binge-worthy the show is.
Yeah.
Because it left you on like a cliffhanger, and to me, like, I didn't like how it ended too. Like, I didn't like how it was just so sudden, but at the same time, I understand why it was so sudden, because it's like they really do want you to just like instantly hop onto that next episode or have like that in your mind, right? It's one of those things where it's like any type of clout is like a good clout.
Yep.
You know, because you know that ending, we literally just had a podcast segment about how that show ended, right?
Right.
So we already have that sparked conversation, so it's already in our minds. it's a memorable ending because it wasn't great, at least in my mind.
Mhm.
Yeah. But with that being said, what do y'all think is gonna happen next?
Ray-chan. Ray-chan's gonna find out, and then I don't know. Ray and
Okay.
Ted-chan might. I don't know.
They might what?
Am I what?
You think
Yeah,
she's
like-
gonna? You think she's gonna
I
take
don't
it
know.
in a good way?
A conversation's gonna happen. I feel like a conversation's gonna happen.
And she's
Another
gonna be
couch
touching her
time.
feet.
Yeah. She's gonna be twiddling her feet saying, "So,
Yeah.
did
So-
you take the Shinkansen today?"
Chess, what about you?
Okay, so from this episode, we saw like at least 2 people get the main storyline. I kind of want to see Masato and Shota's storyline. And, like, they touched a little bit on both of them in the first episode, but I feel like they're gonna touch more on it in the next episode. I don't know what. I'm gonna assume Shota's girlfriend is gonna pop by.
Ooh, that's what I was gonna say
Oh,
too.
drama.
But aren't they long distance? Don't they live
Are they?
far? They're long distance, right? Like she lives far from
I don't
where
know.
the house is.
Maybe she's a Shankatsu train away, you know?
Shinkansen.
Yeah. A bullet,
A bullet train away. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
A bullet train away. Yeah. It's gonna be interesting on how they're gonna proceed with it. But in terms of like, what was I gonna say? How the ending went, I liked it a lot. I like Tim, you're spot on. Life goes on. Like sometimes life doesn't like happen like what you want it to be. So, and what you pointed out too, James, is like it's binge worthy. Now you got to keep remembering this was like the first Terrace House, right? Like it wasn't on Netflix where you could just binge everything. They needed that audience to be craving more Terrace House till next week or whatever, right? So that's what they left it in. Like what the heck just happened? Like everyone's so sad.
Yeah.
That's it. And I think that was so good. Like the people who are making the show, they know exactly what they're trying to like make people want. And what you just said too, Cheska, is like you want to see more storylines. So it's like it's good how they're pacing it. Because like the first episode was all about like the first person who came in was Masato, right? The surfer, right?
Yeah.
We show majority of him. Okay, so he works as a surfer, and we got montages of Shota working as an art student or art teacher. Now we're seeing, I think the next episode, maybe we might see Momo and maybe Rie working, because I think that's like what we're missing right now. We've already touched Cena and Tichan trying to get a job or an interview, and that's part of their occupation. So it's like, character development, right?
True.
Yeah.
Where does Momo work again? I don't remember.
She's like,
She's our aspiring author.
Aspiring author. And then maybe we get in on a AKB48 rehearsal.
I've been allowed to film.
I don't know.
They'll probably do a joint venture, I feel, or like disclosure agreements between companies. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
it's interesting, and like with what Tim said too, like I don't think Rie is gonna watch Terrace House. I think she's too busy with her job. So maybe it's a blessing that she's so busy. So maybe Techan would be like, she doesn't know. Maybe I could just like work it in. You know what I mean? Like maybe. It seems like I don't know, a J-pop star seems to be a very busy lifestyle. Like you just can't like take a day off. And if there's that much people in this group, you can't let all those other girls down. Right? Like, it's a team thing. So it'll be really interesting in how she's gonna work it, and to see if she actually stays in Terrace House. But
Right.
True. I don't know. For me, I'm like, as I know we've only watched 2 episodes, but as the episodes go on, I get more and more nervous for Shota.
Yeah.
Because even during that dinner, that little dinner segment, you know, Shota was like, "Oh yeah, all the girls are cool."
And then Masato's like, "You cheater."
Yeah, so it's kind of like they're putting that into his hands already, right? So I don't know if like maybe Shota is gonna either break up with his girl or maybe he's gonna be the first one to leave the house. Like we don't know, right? It's cool to see how like we saw a lot of Shota, but we didn't see a lot of him as like character development. We didn't see a lot of him. So I'm kind of interested to see the storyline between him and like I guess his girlfriend. So I don't know. We're gonna see what happens.
So what do we know about Shota though? Like so far?
We saw the one scene where he was working at the art studio. And then he went to class.
And then he took a call.
And he has a girlfriend.
Yeah, he took a call outside because of his girlfriend.
And he thinks all girls
and then
are nice. All girls.
So
He said all girls are nice, right? Like
oh yeah, all
he's
all the
playing
girls
it
are nice.
safe.
Yeah.
Cool of him.
I love how the episode opened with Shota like just again stirring the pot. Hey guys, look on Yahoo News. We're talking about like Ray-chan and like her relationship. Like it ends off with him like the conversation with Ted-chan and Shoto. It's like, oh, so you like Ray-chan, and then it just hops into, hey guys, so people are talking about Ray-chan's relationships.
Yeah. Who do you think like out of all of them will like how will be like the most sensitive in terms of all like the feedback in the comments? Like who do you think will succumb to that first?
Ooh.
Momo or what's her name again? The model girl?
Cena.
Oh, Cena?
Cena. Yeah, Cena or Momo, I think. Maybe Cena. I don't know, because her tearing up from the feedback from the magazine people, and like it showed. So maybe
Interesting. Okay.
I feel like Tae-chan might get a little in his feels about it. You know, especially considering like, so that Yahoo article was all about Rie, right? So it's like everyone's already standing Rie. And, if you're gonna be the guy that goes after the person that everyone likes, he's going into a dangerous territory right now.
Yeah.
So he might get a lot of hate,
True.
The AKB fans are gonna go after him.
Yeah. Like, I don't know how J-pop fans are, but I know K-pop fans are like, they're on it.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
So yeah, I feel like, Tae-chan might get in his feels.
Yeah, I'd see that.
I feel it's the opposite. I think since he's so naive and innocent, he'll double down and be like, I am the one for Rie. He's like, no, think about it. I thought about it because I read the comments. Like I feel like that's how he's gonna think about it. I don't know. I have this image of him that like, you go, man, you can do it. Do it for us, man.
Yeah, he's definitely the scrappy underdog.
Yeah, I want him to succeed. If he gets this, let's go. Life is fair.
Yeah, I feel like we're all cheering for Tae-chan, like regardless.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's so young that it really could go either way.
Yeah, that's true.
So we'll just have to wait and see.
19. What an age.
Oh man. Okay. So should we move on to good old Reddit?
Oh yes. Wow. What does the Reddit
segment
say for this time, sir?
Okay. So the Reddit post that we're gonna be talking about today is it's a discussion post about Terrace House, which is really cool. And so yeah, it was posted 3 days ago, which is lit. And it's titled "Life with a Camera." Hello, Terrace Houselers. I don't know. So sometimes the cast acts weird, and I came to the conclusion that it's not always social awkwardness, but the shyness in front of a camera. So in older seasons, the members would do day trips together, which we might get to. I don't know. We'll see. And they made it seem pretty natural. So do you think that the cameras affect their actions a lot?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Hands down.
Totally.
Like when that camera's in front of you, it's like the world's watching. You don't know who is like on the other side of that lens. Like, I mean, it didn't really stop Techan that much. He's just there, playing with his feet, doing back stretches on the couch in front of Ray.
Oh, I'm getting images. As I'm going down the thread, everyone's saying yes. But this one person's saying that like it seems to especially affect the people outside of the entertainment industry. And that could be why the show always casts people like models or people like athletes or musicians, which we may or may not run into. I don't know too much about the season, but like that, I feel like it definitely does affect them. I'm trying to think of like who it affects the most, I feel like Shota, I feel like it doesn't really affect him that much. Because I feel like he's just so like, I feel like the way that he is on the show is like really how he is, like truly how he is. And I feel like the same goes for like someone like Cena, because one, she's in the entertainment industry, and two, like it just looks like she's not afraid to like, or at least like when it comes to like being in the house, she's not like afraid to show herself. Like she drinks a lot. When she loves to get drunk. She can be loud at times. She's always kind of like telling people to do stuff for her, all that kind of stuff. But I feel like maybe like it could just be like Momo-chan's character. But she is kind of shy when she speaks. And I don't know if that's just her or I don't know if that's because of the camera. Yeah.
When Momo-chan speaks, do you think that's her real voice? Or do you think that's like her baby voice?
No, I think that's her real voice. She kawaii AF.
Yeah. Like she's such an anime character. Like especially like again with the. So like you want to hear it in person story? Like,
face roller.
Do people talk like that? No. Can you just stop using the face roll and talk to them for a bit? Like, but she kept using it. So I think Momo has that, like, based on what the thread is saying, like, you are a different person when the cameras are rolling, and it will be effective. Like, in the earlier seasons, like right now, you don't see the production value as good as the newer seasons. And, like, you know how they film day trips in the later seasons? It's so beautiful. Like, you gotta have to plan where these people are walking, how they position the cameras. It's because like one thing I love about Terrace House is like it's so like symmetrical, it's so balanced. Like it doesn't show it as much in this season, but the newer seasons, how they shoot is like, there's a dining room scene, right? It's so perfectly balanced. Like there's a person at the left side and a person at the right side, and it's like they're never sitting together when they're having a conversation. So it's like you kind of have a certain sense like this had to be planned. Like the producers were there saying, when you have these conversations, can you sit there and can you sit there? That way it's more aesthetically pleasing watching the show.
Right,
so,
right.
Like I bet you, I don't know, I feel like sure it is I feel like the magic of Terrace House kind of disappears when you kind of think of like, how do they actually plan these day trips? Like, or how do they have these conversations? Like, so like I feel like in these earlier seasons, we're gonna have something more raw, more real, because this is like, oh crap, they probably didn't realize back then how to film that kind of scene. So yeah.
It's still a learning process for the crew and the producers, right? First season.
So like,
and the editors.
So I'm like really excited because it just shows like this is kind of like. The reason why I like Terrace House is the whole culture itself of it. It's just very different to other shows, but it's showing the rawness of like, I think it's like the most real so far, and I've only watched two episodes, but it's like the most like endearing, the most like, oh yeah, they literally have a week to film footage, then they'll show it. So just like, damn, I hope there's stuff that they talked about in the house in that week that makes it good enough for TV.
Yeah.
So yeah.
There's a lot of thought that goes into the production of this show, as like that's what's so like interesting about it, because it's like it's cool because like it's real, but even with like the realist shows, it's not completely like it's not completely genuine.
Of course.
You know, because with me personally, like I have a preference of like if I'm having like a genuine talk with someone, and if I have the option, I'm gonna sit beside them. I'm not gonna sit in front of them.
Mm-hmm.
Which like it may not be like the popular thing, but it's like yeah, like some people just have that preference. And in all seasons that I've watched, like yeah, like that's never really happened. And yeah, another thing that I noticed with that is that like even in this season, at the dinner table, it's completely symmetrical. But one thing that doesn't happen as much, I think, in later seasons is all of the cuts to just people's faces. Like I could be wrong on that. But from what I know, it's like it only cuts to people's faces if they're doing something like super significant. But in this season, if someone's talking, they'll just cut to someone's face, and I'm just like, huh, that's interesting. But yeah, that's the little Reddit post that we got for today's episode.
Interesting. Good job. I dig it.
Yeah, man.
All right, cool. And I guess this leads to the end of the episode for We the Panel. But before we go, you guys have anything to plug in? How would you be able to reach you guys in the internets and whatnot?
If you guys want to follow my personal Insta, it's Timbit1997. That's about it. And shout out to our sponsor. No.
Oh my god.
We don't have sponsors, no.
We'll get there. Contact us. Anybody, anyone.
True. Oh.
Yeah, we'll take it.
We'll take it, yeah.
Oh, cool.
Okay, yeah, you can follow me
Sorry.
on my Instagram at JSJT_27. You could also check out my YouTube channel where I post some musics. And you'll find that somewhere in the description or something like that. But yeah, if y'all ever want to talk about Terrace House, stuff like that, you guys could hit me up.
True. For me, you can follow me on Insta at Cheska Camille _. And then I am your resident TikToker on this podcast. So you can follow me at Chess Camille. And if you guys want to talk about Terrace House and musical theater, I got you. I'm gonna plug that because that's mainly what my TikTok's about. Okay. Musical theater. But yeah.
Cool. And yeah, you can find me at Instagram at @FerJason. FERJAYSON. Other than that, I think that's all, really, guys.
Plug
so
the
much.
Twitch.
Oh, and yeah, Twitch. Twitch.tv /for-jiggles. Sure. But thanks for coming by and listening to our podcast. And yeah, thanks for listening. And we'll see you next time for the next episode of We the Panel, the Terrace House podcast. Take care, everyone. Bye.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, guys.